When you look at the quarterback play now in the NFL, and there's no more Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, they're all gone. Now you have Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. The only big veteran quarterback is Aaron Rodgers, who could be on his way out in the next 2 or 3 years. When you look at the new dominant quarterbacks in the AFC and the NFC, what quarterback stands out from all the rest, besides Patrick Mahomes? Because Patrick Mahomes has one of the greatest offensive minds in Andy Reid coaching him. But there are quite a few other quarterbacks that have stood out over the last couple of years that have really brought and intensified what the quarterback position should be right now in the league.
You got to go with Josh Allen. He's definitely one of the top ones. You got to go with Burrow. After that, you go with Lamar. We're still in the AFC. You go with Herbert. You look at all these teams and how many quarterbacks are really top-tier quarterbacks, and they're getting paid like they're Super Bowl champions. I understand the market is there, and this is where we're at. You can thank Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns for setting the market. And so every owner in the NFL is like, what's going on now?
If you want to give him a massage,
relaxation in more ways than one.
He might pay you some big bucks, too.
There's a lot of frustration going on in the NFL right now.
Well,
that deal.
The owner of the Texans could be in a lot of trouble himself. The Texans are not one of those smart organizations, that's for sure.
Yes, we're seeing a lot of that in these organizations. Because, if you look around and you look at Chicago Bears and their quarterback situation, you look at the Houston Texans, the Carolina Panthers, I'm still waiting to see if truly is Deshaun Watson the right pick for the Cleveland Browns. It's so top-heavy of where we're at in the league because a lot of these young men don't have the mentors anymore. You can't afford to have a mentor anymore. They're bringing, I think, the 4 quarterbacks now, but a lot of those young quarterbacks are not the mentors of the past that you had on rosters. Those guys are just learning on the fly now.
Anything's better than having Ryan Tannehill as a mentor.
Ryan Tannehill doesn't want to be a mentor.
I know.
And he's pretty much come out and said, why am I going to mentor somebody that's going to take my job?
Meanwhile, they don't even know if they want to even keep him anymore.
You're paying me millions of dollars. This guy right behind me is the future. Why am I going to go out there and let this guy powder my ass? That's not going to happen. We are talking to former Ravens, Saints, Commanders, Jaguars, Giants defensive tackle, Martin Chase. CTE has been a big story over the last 20-some-odd years. And insurance for players that are retired is something that a lot of players that we've had on this show argue about with the NFL and why they're not covering some of these guys with their knee problems, their shoulder problems, their head problems. They should have full benefits like Roger Goodell and his family will for the rest of their lives when he steps down as the commissioner, which will probably never happen because the guy's making $50 million a year. What are your thoughts to the CT situation and the insurance for life for players not playing in the league anymore?
Me retiring in the year 2006 was nothing of talked about. And so the lack of information that has been given to players that's been pouring out now. And now that information is being provided to young men to try to help them in every way that they can. Been out the league for a while now. It's kind of that thing of, I don't know what players are going through. The game is still going. I'm hoping that they're taking care of players in a lot more from an informational standpoint to make a choice of what you want to do. The money's too great. We're seeing the dollars. I don't think these guys are going to stop playing football anytime soon. I think the information to provide them. But the thing that I'm really noticing, a lot of young players are retiring early. They're making that decision on health of being there for their families in the long run.
You as a defensive player, especially a defensive lineman, we saw last year a lot of these defensive tackles, defensive ends got these calls against them for the roughing the passer and a lot of these other defensive rules that have changed the game to make it better for the offense. What do you think about those defensive rules, especially the roughing the passer, where a lot of defensive tackles like Grady Jarrett and Chris Jones had a lot of really bad calls against them?
I'm a defensive guy. But one thing that I can definitely say, now being a fan, I don't want Aaron Rodgers to get hurt. And now we have Zach Wilson being the quarterback for the rest of the game. That's not fun to watch. We will have to watch our backups for most of the season. That's not a good product for the NFL. And I get it. I am a defensive guy. Yes, the calls can be a little touchy. But I think last year, it was a playoff game with the 49ers. They didn't have any quarterbacks. The game still has to go on.
Yep.
But it's that thing of, what do we do? Do we help these defensive players? We can't knock these guys out because we want a good product. Or do we sit and watch a running back about to come in to play quarterback?
So that's the Tom Brady baby antics.
Yeah, we're at that point.
Don't
now,
hit Tom Brady. He's the face of football. He's going to win 7 Super Bowls.